being Eddie Alvarez. What's up, Eddie?
I am happy to be here.
We got you fed. We got you the right shake, the salad, and everything. Eddie said he'd only come in the studio if I went and picked him up lunch, but then he didn't tell me what he really wanted. So I'm standing in Greens and Proteins trying to figure out Eddie Alvarez. What does he like to eat? Did I do all right?
It was perfect. I can't. Don't act like I'm all bougie. I came right from training. I haven't eaten in about 5 hours. So I told Paige who set it up. I said, "Hey, if you can just have some food ready, I'll be good to go."
Hold on a second. We need to know exactly what the order was.
I just said,
What did you get Eddie for lunch?
No, I told him one of the green juices. I just got onto this place and I actually really like it. So I said one of the green juices, and I wanted anything with chicken.
Chicken quinoa salad, and he ate it in like literally 20 seconds. So it must have been all right. Well, Eddie, nice to have you here, man. And as I mentioned, you are coaching The Ultimate Fighter opposite Justin Gaethje. How long did you know that this was sort of the route that you were going to be taking? You know, obviously a lot of people have been talking about a rematch with Dustin Poirier, and then all of a sudden, nope, you're coaching tough. It's going to be Justin Gaethje. Sort of walk us through the timeline a little bit of how this came up.
Yeah, so I'm home. I'm doing one practice a day. I'm not in a training camp per se. So, but I'm going back and forth, going to Wildwood with my family. Just kind of doing that thing, and then I got a call out of nowhere to see if we were interested, and we went back and forth, and we got the deal done, and I go, okay, cool, yeah, I'm gonna do it. When you guys need me out there? And they said, oh, well, come tomorrow. I'm like,
your flight is actually in 3 hours.
Yeah, good old UFC. Like it's always we need it, and we need it now. So I got out here and having a good time.
What were you thinking before this? As I mentioned, the Poirier rematch, were you thinking a certain time frame? When were you looking to get back in the octagon? Did this kind of come up unexpected? And then is it something that you jumped at? Is it like, yeah, this is definitely something I want to do?
Gaethje, after seeing the fight with Mike Johnson, yeah, for sure. But initially, before the fight was even an option, my head was wrapped around an October return against a rematch with Dustin Poirier. And then we got the call from UFC, and I think I don't know what they want to do with that rematch. I originally thought that's the route they wanted to go, and that's the route we were pushing. But this came about, and it's a higher ranked opponent. Guys got some heat around them, and the style matchup. I think the fans win here.
Yeah, after Gaethje did what he did against Michael Johnson, people were matchmaking him left and right. It's just a fun guy to matchmake. And one of the obvious answers was Eddie Alvarez, just because of the way you two guys fought. Were you watching the fight live at home, and it was like, did your Twitter, your social media, did everything just blow up as soon as it happened? Because it seemed like it was sort of, that was the fan reaction to that fight.
Yeah, everybody, I guess they seen hints of me in that fight, the way Justin kind of puts it out there, and yeah. Immediately, everyone, Justin Gaethje versus Eddie Alvarez, immediately. And for me, the toughest guys in the division, one by one. And if you get the right guy in front of you, you guys can make some magic. And I think he's one of them right guys. He fights. That's my wheelhouse, the way he fights, man. That's how I win fights. So it'll be interesting.
I love the tagline you used on Twitter, Eddie. You said the battle of America's most violent.
Yeah. Not America's most wanted, America's most violent. I can get some T-shirts made up. America's most violent.
I want to ask you about The Ultimate Fighter in general. I mean, we've always heard things on both sides of the fence whenever somebody gets approached to be a coach on The Ultimate Fighter. What's your opinion on that in terms of the time commitment, in terms of the pay, just being involved in general? At this point in your career, are you happy to be a coach on The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah. The thing is, I'm out here with my coaches, so it gives me time to decompress and just focus on fighting, not just training myself, because I do my training at 8 o'clock, and then we train the girls at 10 o'clock. Then I do my training again at 3 o'clock, and the girls train at 4 o'clock. So it's a full fight day of not only training, but then teaching fighting. So if I'm working on something, I'll take it right into the training session with the girls and say, hey, check this out. So it's like almost like a fight retreat, a 5-week, 6-week fight retreat.
Eddie, talk a little bit about Gaethje, and there's differing opinions on this. I mean, he's a top 10 guy, and now he's got a whole lot of attention on him. I think where people would start to debate a little bit or disagree potentially on Gaethje is, well, how skillful is he? You know, is he just, because even he will say this himself, that I'm just going to outwill the other guy. Like, if you don't put me away, and maybe you will, because I will put myself out there, I'll put myself at risk. But if you don't put me away, there's no way that you can match what I'm doing, because I'm in your face. I will break you. Is that the fairest assessment of there is, or is this guy, do you see him as a very technically skilled guy as well?
No, that's not technically, but this sport, a lot of guys who weren't technically sound did well. There's guys like Clay Guida out there who even wasn't technically the most sound guy, but he thrived off his conditioning, thrived off his movement. It's really about creating a style for yourself and implementing it. And if you're the best at implementing your particular style, then you're going to be tough to deal with, technical or not. I always say, like, if I'm fighting a guy, he wants to do the salsa and I'm doing the cha-cha, we need to do the cha-cha because that's all I'm good at. I can't go ahead and learn the salsa overnight. So you have to dance your dance, and he does a good job dancing his dance. He goes out there, he knows what he likes to do, and he implements it well. He has the courage to go out there and implement it well. But you don't have to be technical. You know, the fans can knock him for that. I'm not the most technical guy. The things I do sometimes look a little wild. They don't look aesthetically pleasing, but if it works, then we're not going to have the argument.
Is that what this fight is about for you in terms of stylistically? Is it about both of you guys dragging each other into deep water and then seeing who drowns first? Is that how you're viewing this, or do you think I am a little more technical than this guy? Maybe I will play the technical role in this fight. Or are you happy to meet him in his strength at this point because your guys' strengths are a little bit obviously similar? So you're happy to engage him in his type of fight, basically?
So I battle internally about that question. Immediately when the fight was off, I said, this should be fun because because this is my wheelhouse. I don't lose these kind of fights. Mm-hmm. These are the kind of fights I win. I lose the more technical battle where a guy keeps away and guy has a good game plan. I've lost there, admittedly. I don't lose these fights. These are the kind of fights I win every time. So it should be fun to see, like I said, who's the I don't want to say sloppier. I don't know who's America's most violent. I guess it's the battle of that right there.
I really can't wait for the T-shirt. I really can't.
Who's Rock'em Sock'em head just gets knocked up first, I guess. That's crazy because we're talking about a fight that's it's very violent. It has physical ramifications on your body as you're sitting here next to me, and we're sitting here laughing about it. That it's going to be, you two are going to go to war. And I guess, are you just a little crazy that you have to accept that, or you accepted it a long time ago? So, at this point in your career, how do you feel about those fights where you're like, man, this is going to be a war. I'm going to go through some physical damage in this fight. Like, at this point in your career, how do you approach that?
My thoughts on fighting in general is, I've already accepted the dangers of the sport. I've totally accepted that. I'm not fearful of it. I actually, my philosophy on it is, I'm okay. I feel great about the glory of winning, and I'm trying to come to better grips with disappointment. But I know my only other option is to feel nothing at all, and to me, that's a kind of a funeral. That's a death. So I'd rather feel something, whether it's disappointment, whether it's glory, no matter what it is. I want to feel something. So feeling nothing would be a terrible existence. So.
Eddie, have you talked to Michael Johnson at all after his fight with Gaethje, and is he going to factor into your training camp?
Well, Mike's always been a buddy of mine, and he just texted me the other day, hearing that I was out in Vegas. I think he's coming out because when I was out at the Black Zanes, I have friends out there who I think one of my buddies is fighting. Someone who I was close with out there, and Mike's coming out with him, so we'll probably get some cross training in when he comes out.
How surprised were you, or were you? Was there any surprise with the way the Michael Johnson Justin Gaethje fight went? Obviously, you're very familiar with Johnson. you knew of Gaethje and his style coming in. Did anything in that fight surprise you?
I thought Mike was going to be able to outmove him, and I thought he would catch him with that shot. Mike has a hell of a left hand, and my biggest concern, and I'm not trying to sound like a wizard or someone who can predict the future, my biggest concern, and I talked about it with my teammates in the morning of the fight night, was the leg kicks. I said, oh man, they may add up. And then later on, may mobilize Mike a little bit. My biggest concern was the leg kicks that Justin does, and how Mike's going to deal with them would be the deciding factor of whether Mike would win or not. And leg kicks are like something you can't see and hear, but they are like a great investment early in a fight, and Justin does that well. He makes that investment early, and it immobilizes a lot of guys.
Yep. So you were talking about a potential October return with Poirier. Now you're coaching the show. The Ultimate Fighter debuts on television at the end of August. So typically, what we're used to seeing, and I don't believe that they've announced this anywhere, is that the coaches will fight each other on the Ultimate finale. But occasionally, if it's a big fight, it'll end up on a pay-per-view as well. You look at Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. Do you know if your fight will be on the finale or if it will be on pay-per-view?
The only thing I read, and it might be ignorant of mine, but I thought I read something like December 5th in Detroit.
Okay.
That's just what I read. I don't know any inside information that you guys don't know, but I thought that's where we're going at with this, that we would do the show, they'd edit it, do the season, then we fight in December.
Do you have a preference, Eddie? Is December something you would like?
December's fine. Earlier is better for me. I like to enjoy my holidays. I'm usually an October fighter, and then I can enjoy Thanksgiving and enjoy Christmas with my family. But I'll do December 5th, and I'll get Christmas in.
How bummed out will you be if the fight ends up being December 30th then, on that card? Maybe a little.
Well,
maybe not at all.
Look, me and my wife dealt with it. I've been doing this a long time. I'd much rather not, but we deal with it. We deal with it.